This survey was made we launched it 15 days ago, and to gather the voices of farmers, we sent out a questionnaire to about 300 participants. What we actually did is we asked the NGOs, who are very often in contact with farm organizations and the farm organizations themselves. You have enormous challenges for a transition from the present system of agriculture to a more resource or regenerative system, farming systems. Now, of course, this is clear that it's a challenge to society as a whole. And we asked a simple question. We asked them to answer simple questions. What should you do to empower producers to adopt improved farming and land use practices on a large scale? This question was put. So we asked farmers to address these questions to different stakeholder groups. Now, these were a bit the responses. You see, we had about quite an equal number on the different stakeholder groups. So they tried to give an answer. What should governments do, private sector, international and regional organizations, research and education, producer organizations, civil society, and the Copper Millers Initiative. Now, let's start what they expected from themselves. They said they should engage into training and exchange. Mutual exchange between producers is important. They also think it is important to stop judging each other and say, listen, who's doing the better? Everybody's trying as good as he can, and they should stop judging each other, but be objective, open-minded, and question one's own way of doing, and seek credible evidence for whatever they are endeavoring. I think another point which goes close to this is self-awareness came out by two participants. Just to review their own farming practice, just to sit back and think about how are we actually practicing, what is it doing to my soils, and what is this? Is it a generative nature, or is it something which it builds up soil? So be self-reflective. And then also to go a bit beyond short-term benefits and really think about what is it going to be when I go down this road in 10, 20 years from now. And the third point producers should especially address is solidarity. I think it's very important for producers to get organized. That's one person has said that and needed. Get political support and being solidarity and ask for it and claim for it. So strengthen their position. Now, producer organizations are the second most important group to which they responded. First of all, they think producer organizations should do everything possible to organize farmers. That is the most important to strengthen their capacity to come up for their interests. The second is they should provide assistance to farmers through networking and other better understanding of the barriers and the conditions in which they are farming. They also think producer organizations have an important role to take leadership role, and then also to make awareness raising, especially the private sector, and with international ethical cooperation movements leading sustainable development goals and better agricultural practice. So raise awareness at other levels would help a lot. And then, of course, the last point which came out also is negotiating fair prices. That would be a major expectation from producer organizations. And I think this includes not just food, but also ecosystem services. We have other points. I will go through them quickly. Governments and local authorities work on long-term policy guidelines. This was the 10 of the respondents came out with this one. Others said increase technical advice, localize economy. So governments really to promote local farmers. That came out by 3 of the respondents point to that one. And carbon offsets would be another point which is important that governments and local authorities should address. And exploitational research, make latest research accessible, develop training programs, step up collaboration with producers, strengthen research in these new areas that were highlighted this morning, and provide participatory practical solutions. So do adaptive research. From the private sector, more targeted assistance, improve awareness. I came out with 6 people. So responsible to act responsibly and also towards farmers and consider sustainable development goals in their business behavior. Revenue sharing, they should get a bigger share of the revenues from selling food. Promote local farmers. Also, the private sector should more favor local farmers and less depend on regional or global trade. Collaborative work with producers in terms of research development and best practice, and reward farmers who do practice regenerative agriculture. Now, international and regional organizations, again, awareness and advocacy, the dissemination of knowledge and support, technically and financial, and more profitable interventions, and linkage between actors and organizations. This is something they would expect from international organizations. Civil society, very similar but at a different level. Advocacy, stop agribashing. Yes, the civil society organizations sometimes have the attitude of being too much critical about farmers, but stop agribashing. Consume responsible. So they also say civil society has a responsibility as consumers to consume more responsible, and I would say less. Solidarity. NGOs, civil society should really work towards solidarity among the different groups of society. The Capramel initiative, they think what is important for a marketplace of positive initiatives. So showcase good examples and being positive. To disseminate information, Capramel should also be a door where people can get in touch with farmers, and also to support farmers to get a carbon offset for their efforts to sequestrate carbon. Those are the 4 main points they are expecting that came out of this survey. Now, I must say that the common themes are collaboration, leadership, research and exchange, financing. These are the main points. You can actually look up this, I think Paul can share the link. You can look up this presentation with more time, and maybe drop a comment below the presentation. You have a comment section where you can drop a comment and give us feedback on what you think about these farmer opinions. We will surely share the results of this survey once we have evaluated it fully. It is still ongoing, but it's quite interesting to exchange and to get into dialogue with people out there through these different electronic medias, and especially the survey tools prove to be something which really brings up a dialogue that we direly need. Okay, thanks a lot, Paul.
Thank you. So now, nous avons une session which will be open to farmers of the world so that they can express themselves and take the floor.
I'm Neeraj from India, running an organization called Kheti, which is working for community development program through regenerative agroforestry in rural Bihar. I will represent India as a farmer and would like to share my experience from the ground on the occasion of soil health to fight climate change in the context of One Health and the needed international solidarity. The benefits what we are observing during this transition phase, there is increasement in biodiversity below and above ground, water percolation rate through our land. The main challenges what we are facing is there is a lack of resources in rural setup like nursery, seed banks, skilled and trained farmers, And to get that resources, we have to travel a lot to get all the resources. We have right access of technology and technical advices for our current phase, but need support for further advancement. We are working with a government initiative project which align to our project. We have a good relationship with our consumer because they know the importance of healthy food during this COVID time and the taste of the fruits from our farm. And yes, I think the 4x1000 initiative is possible to keep living and productive soil around the globe. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Paulo Garcia. I am from Mexico, from the Guanajuato state. I work for the farmers of the Guanajuato state through the Masar Guanajuato program. This program is supported by the state government and the International Maize and Wheat Improvement Center. Conservation agriculture in Guanajuato has a history of more than 35 years. Currently, the efforts of those years are visible for the sowing of corn, however, not so for wheat. To improve this, we identified that conservation agriculture is not only a tool to improve yields and profitability, but it is also the best tool to restore soil fertility. We found different reasons why its adoption has not increased. One of them is the absence of machinery to solve the issue of fertilizer management. Straw burning is a big problem. Information and transfer absences. And cultural issue with the straw management. Regarding machinery, we are working in 2 projects with the local machinery companies to solve the problem. Thinking about climate, smart machinery. We have relationships with the main companies that use the basic product for the transformation and search the way of transfer of this practice throughout their value chain. Finally, I think the 4x1000 initiative is a great strategy to raise awareness and work together to visualize it. Agriculture has the best tool to improve all work.
Thank you for the 4x1000 initiative for asking my testimony. I am a farmer in the south of Champagne in France on a 100-hectare farm. I grow cereal crops, hemp, grow seed for pastures and cover crops. I have a master's degree in agronomy. I took over the family farm 8 years ago and immediately started conservation agriculture, which is for me an agronomic evidence. As defined by the FAO, the 3 pillars of conservation agriculture are permanent soil organic cover, diversity of cultivated plants, and no mechanical disturbance of the soil. Our first job as farmers is to produce more food to respond to the global demand and rising population. Conservation agriculture is a virtuous cycle that trusts and respects the soil and nature. That means nourishing soil with our crops and cover crops, protecting the life of our soil with no tillage. This will improve the soil's quality and agriculture's resilience while maintaining high production. Conservation agriculture protects and restores soil function. It fixes soil carbon, protects the soil surfaces from erosion, and enhances moisture infiltration. Higher soil carbon increases nutrients and their cycles. High-quality soils and permanent cover crop enhance soil biodiversity, which in turn attracts larger animals and birds. Conservation agriculture is not easy and quick to implement. It's a revolution in the head for the farmer, which demands to them to go against tradition, withstand the gaze of others, and take multiple risks. It takes time to change practices, to learn to trust nature, and to restore soil fertility. Farmers need to see the success of others, not to be alone to learn and go forward. You have to give them time to acquire the techniques. You have to maintain the ability of their tools, herbicide, pesticides, fertilizer, and you have to recognize the benefits and risks taken in their transition. We, Farmers have built and are still building our own corpus of technical solutions to make conservation agriculture system work. In network with other farmers, we learn a lot from each other. In France, we are connected inside APAD and other local groups. APAD is also connected to other conservation agriculture farmers associations all around the world, connected into the global conservation agriculture network. International recognized scientists and experts of conservation agriculture give us support by their knowledge and expertise. Up to now, in France, the scientific community has shown little interest and support. In France, conservation agriculture represents about 3% of farmers. We need to be heard by politicians. We need them to understand the real benefits of conservation agriculture, to take political decisions that favors this system. Every time we directly reach citizens in our fields or through media, we have success. A recent study shows that citizens love conservation agriculture farmers when we explain it ourselves directly. They like to hear what we do and how we do, even if it's not perfect, by improving year after year. Our interest for us farmers in the 4P1000 initiative is to make our voice heard by government officials. There is an urgent need to move to conservation agriculture. It is the only solution to mitigate climate change. There is urgency because it takes time for a farmer to convert, and every year it becomes more difficult to convert since climate has already changed.
Hi, my name is Emiliano Mrowe. I'm the CEO and founder of Work Africa. In Africa, over 500 million farmers juggle between the realities of hunger and protecting their soils. One bad harvest can result in hunger, and at the beginning of the season, the farmers typically stand at the edge of their farms, and in front of them they have a couple of acres covered with grasses that are 6 feet tall, and they need to clear them down for the season. And at that point, they basically have two options: either spend 30 or 40 days cutting the grasses down, or simply to burn them. So it's pretty obvious that they choose to burn them in 30 minutes or in an hour, and they still need to prepare their land after that work. So it's also fairly obvious that the lack of mechanization is one of the biggest challenges for soil preservation, especially in tropical smallholder farmers environment. But one challenge we've done very little to solve. This can change. We are completely convinced that farmers can be the drivers of growth, employment, food production, but above everything, they can become the protectors of humanity's most precious resource, our soils. We are a social enterprise based out of Sierra Leone and Ghana. We work with over 1,000 farmers, and our objective is to stack the decks for the farmers by designing and supplying a bundle of regenerative agricultural inputs as a service. So this bundle is based on introducing crop rotations, applying improved inputs and practices, but most importantly, providing no-till planting services. So instead of the farmer having to spend a month hoeing the fields and then another 10 or 15 days planting by hand, a no-till planting machine can do that in a couple of hours while helping them protect their soils. So this, in addition, frees up a lot of time so that they can use for other income, to generate other income streams. In this part of the world, unfortunately, government incentives are very limited. So we think that 4P1000 can help gain awareness that protecting soils is extremely important, not only in temperate developed economies, but even more important in tropical areas where the soils are more prone to erosions. And we think that, or they can also help us understand that the 500 million farmers in Africa have the potential to store gigatons of carbon while producing the food that an ever-increasing world population needs, moving away or emerging from being the forgotten farmers to becoming some of the climate heroes in the world.
Hello, I am Gabriel Carvajal, agriculture and livestock farmer from Uruguay, South America. I am also part of the Global Farmer Network, which is an organization of farmers from around the world. There are many obstacles and challenges in implementing conservation agriculture, but the benefits exceed any of those, and particularly the 4P1000 is crucial for demonstrating the importance of the soil. not only in producing food, but also in improving the environment. At the same time, we improve the soil. So this is a virtuous circle. It's a win-win situation, and we must tell this story. So I thank you a lot for this opportunity. And once again, I believe farmers' voice is tremendously important. Thank you.
We started in 2015 with leaving some field untouched or just a light harrowing, and from 2018 have we been planted all directly. The main benefit in the short term is the saving on labor, wearing parts, fuel, etc. And no more runoff from sloppy fields and no more dusty storms on sandy fields in the spring. The political debate on glyphosate caused some European farmers to refrain from switching to the no-till principle. We rely on access to glyphosate to succeed with no-till. It's not a problem to have access to any other source of technology. The challenge is to choose the right one for your need.
The tough pandemic times have furthered the access to technology via internet. 4/1000 will surely give a holistic approach to the Indian farmers also. I am sure in the coming decade, many farms will become icons of conservative agriculture.
¿Hay problemas en la siembra directa? No, hay problemas en la agricultura mal hecha.
Nuestros suelos tenían hambre.
Sabemos que el suelo no hay que dejarlo descansar, sino que al suelo hay que darle de comer, porque el suelo está vivo.
No puede tener el suelo parado, la actividad biológica se va a resentir.
Tenemos que salir de la simplificación de los sistemas, volverlos a complejizar para parecernos más a la naturaleza.
Cuando hablamos de no descanso, no alcanza a contener el suelo cubierto. Esa cobertura en lo posible tiene que ser viva.
Mantenerse verdes lo más tiempo posible.
La herramienta que tenemos hoy para producir de forma sustentable.
Al principio todos nos miraban como locos, ¿viste? No entendían lo que estábamos haciendo. Eso de gastar en una siembra, en algo que no vas a cosechar.
El suelo no necesita descansar, nos dimos cuenta de eso y así estamos actuando.
So now, let me invite Maria Beatriz Pilou-Girodo to say a few words. Over to you, Maria Beatriz.
Thank you very much for 4P1000 initiative, for the opportunity for being protagonists through the College of Farmers. We have the honor of hearing voices from all around the world, commitment to social organization. These voices show the conviction for a global agriculture based on the paradigm of care, regeneration, and improvement, with complex systems emulating nature and living definitively in time the old paradigm of deterioration based on pillage and other harmful practices. From SHICAN, the Global Conservation Agriculture Network, we try to bring together farmer associations, reference, and hopefully we can deepen links with policymakers as well to promote conservation agriculture based on no tillage, permanent soil organic cover, crop rotation, not only diversification, but also sustainable intensification as an umbrella and mandatory for the different production. It is not about one agriculture or the other. They are all necessary. The only condition is that they are under the principle of the conservation agriculture. We have the knowledge, the traditional knowledges, and the innovative knowledge and tools and technologies to leave soils in better conditions than those received by the new generations for the very first time in the history of the world. Thanks to the 4P1000 for allowing to work together farmers, decision makers, and scientists. It's crucial to be successful with the shared objectives and to amplify and complex the proposal as Dr. Ibrahim Mayaki summarized and warned all of us today. Thank you very much for the voice of farmers. I am Maria Giraudo from Argentina, 5th generation of farmer, and with 30 years of no-till farming in my country.
Thank you. Thank you very much for these comments, which are extremely useful and based on a solid foundation of experience. Thank you. Thank you very much. Now I think we have come to the end of a high-level segment, Dr. Liu.
Yes.
And it is with great pleasure that I would like to thank all those who intervened. This presentation ended with a voice of the farmers, which is a very capital voice in whatever we do. So let me reiterate my warm thanks. And we should celebrate the fact that even if it was virtually, the level of richness of our interactions was very high. And we will remember these particular moments. Thanks to you all.